Hey there, I'm Ari from the Tech Buyers Guru, and in this video I'll be sharing news of the Computex 2020 showcase as presented by Be Quiet, the well-regarded German manufacturer of PC components. Now, as many of you probably realize, Computex 2020 was actually canceled this year. It would have occurred in late May or early June, and due to the pandemic, live trade shows have been put on indefinite hold. Luckily, manufacturers continue to produce new products and have had to get a little bit creative to share the news of these products. In this case, Be Quiet decided to do a one-on-one Skype call with me to showcase their new products and allow me to ask questions. I've dug down deep and asked a lot of questions and challenged them on their new products, and so I want to share the news of these 3 new product lines coming out later this year. Now I'll start with the ShadowRock 3 White Edition. The ShadowRock 3 was actually just announced at CES 2020, and I did test it earlier this year. Now this new White Edition doesn't change the performance level, it just gives you a new finish. It will come in at $60 and should be launching in October. This does cost $10 more than the original ShadowRock 3, and in my shootout, it wasn't even a winner at that price point. I think that this is going to be a good choice for people who want quiet coolers and who like the white finish. But I think most of you probably know which cooler I would actually recommend at the $60 price point, and I think Be Quiet's aware of that too. Now, moving on to what I consider the biggest surprise among Be Quiet's announcements is the new Pure Loop line of all-in-one liquid coolers. It targets the entry-level side of the market, starting at $85 for a 120mm model, going up to $120 for a big 360mm model. There will also be 240 and 280mm models. They will come in black and they will not have any RGB lighting, but they will have a white LED loop around the cooling block, which looks very tasteful. And Be Quiet did this intentionally. They didn't want to bling it up with a lot of lighting, but they wanted to have a touch of class. And I do think that this white light looks really good. Now, like I said, they're targeting the entry level and the price is very on point given their focus. I do think Arctic is going to put up a big fight here, of course. All of you probably know that the Liquid Freezer 2 line has been tearing up the charts and selling out constantly, and I told Be Quiet this, and they're aware that Arctic is a pretty fierce competitor, but they think that they have some definite benefits in their new Pure Loop line that will put it ahead, potentially in terms of noise, although only a benchmark shootout will prove that. So we'll see how it works out. I do plan on testing a 360mm model of the Pure Loop when it hits the market in October. Now moving on to what I consider perhaps the most highly anticipated announcement in Be Quiet's showcase is the Silent Base 802, coming in late November of this year. Now, as many of you probably realize, Be Quiet had a huge hit on its hands with its new Pure Base 500 line of cases. First, the original 500 launched in late 2019, and then the 500DX, which I have here, which was announced at CES 2020 and launched in the spring. I actually named this the best case available under $100. And one of the things that really made this case stand out was that it had high-end touches that improved its usability versus other cases in its price range, like 3 high-quality 140mm fans and great cable routing, but it also had high airflow. It was the first great airflow case that Be Quiet had ever offered. So what Be Quiet is doing here is taking the new performance approach that they innovated with the 500DX and translating it to a higher end case in the 800 series. The 802 actually will use the same underpinnings as the 801. That means you'll still get push button to remove side panels. You'll get 3 140mm Pure Wings 2 fans, and you also get a modular interior which allows you to invert your motherboard if you so choose. But included in the box are new mesh panels, not unlike the ones debuted on the 500 series, which I found to be extremely high quality. These magnetic panels provide a lot of airflow and also stay in place and look great. Now on the 802, you'll get them not only for the top panel, but also for the front panel. So you can set this case up for true high airflow, a really high performance gaming or content creation system, or you can mix and match. For instance, if you want it to be fairly quiet, but you have an all-in-one cooler on top and you want that airflow out of the case, you can just use the mesh on top. Or if perhaps you want some RGB fans in the front and you want them to show through, you can just use the mesh in the front of the case. So there's a lot of options for the user, and I think it's a really fair price that Be Quiet's offering this case at $160 with the steel side panel, $170 with the tempered glass side panel. Now, in my opinion, probably the most direct competitor to the Silent Base 802 is going to be the Phanteks P600A, which was launched last year, but that case really probably hasn't been a great seller. And one of the problems with that case is that although it offered a noise absorbing panel that could be removed, it didn't offer another mesh panel in the box. Instead, it just exposed the filter behind that padded panel, and it didn't look like a finished product when you took that panel off. Well, Be Quiet's really going the next step, including 2 different panels in the box, and I think that's the right move. Now, other cases in this price range include the H500P from Cooler Master, which is a fantastic high airflow case, but it has kind of a gamer vibe, and I think a lot of people are probably moving beyond that. You know, kind of the plasticky look, a lot of ARGB lighting. That's good for some people, but others really want a more subdued look to their cases, a more professional look, and that's what you're going to get with the Silent Bass 802. Now, Be Quiet's only going to be offering the 802 in 2 colors, black and white. Now, in previous models, we have seen a gray color from Be Quiet, but they've told me that this color has really dropped in popularity while white has picked up a lot, and that's great from my point of view. I love white cases. It's always the color I choose when I have the option. In my test samples, it looked great on the 500DX. One thing we won't see in the 802 is any integrated RGB lighting. That's kind of a shame because I think Be Quiet did a really good job on the DX. But if you want RGB lighting, you're going to have to add that on your own if you go with the 802. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. I'll do my best to get back to you. If you enjoyed the video, of course, please do give me a like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.